roll through quite quickly, you know, none of this, you know, sit around for, you know, been on the committee for 30 years type of stuff, you know, now been on the committee for 2. And then, but, you know, I think the pool that we, you know, the pool that we should be shooting for is 32 teams, and then, which indisputably would make more money, which indisputably would be more exciting for the fans, which indisputably would elevate the quality of our games. If you don't believe me, just ask the NFL and 1AA.
Coach, with Thanksgiving coming up, what's the key to winning the family Thanksgiving flag football game?
Shoot. Muddy day or dry day?
Muddy.
Oh, well, muddy day is just the ability to hold on to the ball. And then the other thing is on your team, you want the ones that are more serious about playing the game, because there's going to be a point that once everybody gets muddy, they're just going to enjoy the whole being in the mud and tossing mud on each other and whatnot. So if the game is serious and it's serious about winning the game in the first place, which I don't know that it ever is, but if it is, you want the ones that'll maintain their focus around the game and not get as infatuated with the mud.
And then, what's the best board game to play with the family over the holiday season?
Best board game over the holiday season, and in my family, these board games tend to get thrown across the room. So from that standpoint, the one that's got all the pieces. But, well, Monopoly's good because it's long, but it's more boring. I'd have to say Risk. I would go with Risk. It's because it includes a lot of people. There's a little more action to it. A little bit of strategy on it, except somebody can get on a real lucky streak, no question about that. Hopefully me. Yeah, and then like Scrabble, I'm not big into that. Clue, for example, I don't think is the best, despite the fact I sort of like it. I don't think. A new one pretty good. Where you draw the pictures, you know. I don't know what it's called.
Pictionary?
It's like charades with pictures. Is that the one?
Pictionary?
All right, see, they're very good at Pictionary. So, Bobby, if we play, we'll try to play with these guys and not them, you know. Plus, they're probably better, you know.
Here you go.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you know, she'll want to say horse and it'll look like the Black Stallion, you know.
Kind of going back to football for a second, what do you think of the turnover chain and the turnover plank and just
The
rewarding
what?
turnover chain? The turnover plank.
Oh.
It's like a
What's the other one? Okay, the chain.
They have like a plank. I can't remember what
A plane?
it is. Like a piece of wood. I'm not
Like
sure.
a
Plank.
Plank. Like
It's from a
piece-
cartoon
Like
show.
yeah.
The plank.
From Ed, Edd n Eddy, I think.
I think all that stuff's pretty good. We have a certain amount of props ourselves. I think it's all pretty good. I mean, because so I think it's a good idea. I think you know, I think you should find your original stuff to the extent that you can. You know, that's original to your team. I like because and I don't even know what it stood for, but Virginia Tech had the lunchbox. You know. No, I think all that stuff's good. You know, I mean, and usually it works. I mean, the efforts to create a lot of focus among your team. You know, you know, I mean, just because everything's intense out there, everybody's practicing, everybody's playing hard. But I do think when you got a big group and a lot of moving parts. Besides, it kind of keeps it interesting and it's sort of fun, but it also draws their, you know, focus to one point, which I think can be real effective and good. So I like stuff like that. You know, I've heard indirectly about the chain. But yeah, no, I think it's a good idea. What do they? So if he has to go back out in the field, right? Okay, so he gets a turnover, and then
Then he gets the
They
chain
turn
when
it-
it comes off.
they turn it right back, or what? He's got to pull it off.
Yeah,
Or
so then it
something.
goes to the next guy
To the next guy.
afterward. So when he goes back on the field, he gives the chain back, and then
When it goes on
Wears it.
something on the sideline, like
Yeah.
here's the chain, get a turnover, right?
yeah. So like you
Okay.
get to wear it for like the whole possession that you're off the field for.
I think it's pretty good. I wish I'd thought of it, but anyway.
Would you wear like a big Coug chain if someone made that?
We'll see.
Is there anything Coach Grinch or anyone does similar, like in practice or anything even, where you get something if you force a turnover or do anything good?
Yeah, there is some stuff like that. I'm trying to think what it is specifically. And, you know, sometimes you change it up, stuff like that. You know, we've got kind of the most, like in special teams, you're gonna want a specific answer. And between it being somewhat classified and between me remembering the whole dimension of it, I'm not gonna tell you. But special teams, there's, you know, we'll have a variety of stuff and kind of distinguish somebody on each team, that type of thing, you know, like I've done for years with the Bone. I mean, because I've given out the Bone Award since I was the offensive line coach at Iowa Wesleyan College. And so, I mean, stuff like that, you know, continue or something like that.
And I want to go off of like Alyssa's question from a little bit ago, which brings you up to all these like psychological elements. With this game, I know that you said that you shouldn't have more effort in this game versus any effort, whether you're playing Oregon State, Cal, whoever. But is there a certain sort of brother rivalry here that maybe not physically you're exerting more effort, but you have to handle some more emotional things where you just...
I think there's a lot of energy and excitement around it, and I think the fact that the fans and the country are excited about it, I think, you know, that rubs off. But, you know, I mean, there were other games like that too, you know, this year. I mean, some of it has to do with the quality of your opponent. If you have a real challenge and a real quality opponent, I mean, you know, the atmosphere felt like that when we were getting ready to play SC and Stanford too, so, yeah.
One last time on the phone. Any questions?
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, go ahead, Steph.
Hey, Mike. So you talked a little bit about kind of keeping that momentum going. You've won so many games this year. Is there any part of you that's afraid that with the week off you might lose some of that momentum, and how can you sort of prevent that from happening?
Well, I think the biggest thing, you got to try to maintain your focus. Yeah, you always wonder about that, and I will say this, that